You know what's really impressive about Islam for me compared to Khabib? He's finishing guys, right? I mean, his last 5 wins have come via finish, regardless of the opponent. Charles sub, ground and pound win over Bobby, Kimura win over Dan Hooker, submitted Thiago Moises, submitted Drew Dober. I love the fact that while the style is similar, he goes for the finish. He's aggressive, somewhat like Khamzat in that regard. That's somewhat, that Russian style. He's a very fun fight. Like there used to be a knock on him, I feel like early on, that he was just kind of safe and boring. That's not the case. He is a very fun fighter to watch, Chuck.
I agree with you 100%. And that was kind of a lost. I mean, we talked about like the coin flip nature of this fight. Like it could go a million different ways, right? Let me ask you this first before that. Was this a foreseeable, like for you? Because you said you could see it happening just about any way. Was this one of your scenarios where you're like, something like this happens where Charles gets submitted?
I thought if Islam, so I said to you guys right before the fight, my official prediction is Islam, right? Yes, this is not me doing the revision.
You said it right after the scorecards. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, wow.
There were no scorecards.
Fucked up. That is fucked up. No. I thought there were 2 ways that he wins. He either wins via decision or he wins via sub. I didn't think he was going to knock out Charles. And for Charles, I thought he wins via decision or he wins via knockout. I didn't think he was going to sub Islam. So, one of the scenarios, he's just so damn strong. Yeah. He is just damn strong. Could we start talking? Is it too early to talk about the Volk fight? Who do we like in that fight? I don't know.
Well,
that's just a tough first title defense, by the way. Jeez Louise.
Jump right in
there against the pound for pound best.
My God. The thing, as I said, yes, like the reason why I liked Oliveira in this fight is that I think he would offer something different on the ground. He'd be able to make, separation, get some distance. He was able to do it once, get back up twice maybe. But, when he can take you down like that and flatten you out, I don't think he can do shit. I don't think I can't think of a single person, even like say Dariush had an amazing performance tonight grappling wise against Gamrot. Gamrot, obviously a great grappler as well. When you have a wrestler that dominant, that strong, and who can go to strong holes and positions where he knows he can dominate, and you can't stop him doing that because he has the engine to keep going in your legs like he did against Charles. I can't see any of those guys. They'd have to offer something completely different. And look, Oliveira had moments where I felt it was on his terrain tonight, when they were standing, when they're in the clinch, when he's getting the elbows in, and it didn't do shit to Islam. So I don't know.
It's all biding time, right? It's like biding time for Islam to get back to what he wants to do.
And he didn't look uncomfortable either in those situations. I didn't feel against Charles tonight.
Man,
it felt like a coronation, right? Like it felt like this was all in motion really since Khabib gave up the belt 2 years ago in the same damn building. It's pretty remarkable.
It did have that feeling.
And it
100%.
just felt like this was going to happen.
Yeah, it had that feeling. But just real quick on your Volk one, you could look at Volkanovski and just his kind of game plan. He's extraordinarily strong, too, for his frame. Like, he's a very strong guy. He has cardio that goes for days. Like, it starts to get very fascinating very fast if you start to really think about that fight, because Volk is so good at certain areas and he's pretty good all over. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's proven that he can be anywhere. But it is I guess my early lean, just watching Islam, and I don't know if this is recency or not, but it's like the early lean, just giving the division, Volk going up and all that stuff, I think would still be to Islam. But man, fighting in Australia like that, can you imagine? I just feel like that's that extra fuel. That guy is so dedicated. We're talking about him making weight, going there and doing all this stuff. I mean, he would be willing to die, I think, in that fight. Don't you? I feel like Volkanovski would have to be at his very, very best going into that one.
So who do you lean towards?
I would still lean Islam, though. I just think that I don't know. You see, like, the way he starts to make it, like the strength, man. I mean, just when you see him start to get the fight where he wants it, it always seems academic until there's an end.
Man, Volk is so smart, though. He is so sound. I mean, we've never seen him fight at 55. Islam's a super strong, really tough 55er. And the strength is so impressive, especially when he gets to the. It's just so amazing to see him fight, and he goes for the finish. Like I said, I don't know though. I wonder. You think Islam opens up as the favorite?
Yeah.
I think he would. Yeah.
Petesy, do you agree? Do you agree Islam over Volk? Yeah, we're not holding you to this, but.
Yeah, I do. Like, it's just like so much of the conversations about Khabib feel like they're just buzzing around my head now, thinking about Islam. It's like, can you stop the takedown? I know it became that rudimentary in the end with Khabib. Can you stop the takedown? And unfortunately, that's exactly what it is with Islam. Like even with Oliveira, I thought he offered something where he could be taken down and then something could happen down there. But you can't. It's clear that you can't. Mm-hmm. So that's what it comes down to. And if you're in there with 25 minutes with him, I think he's going to take you down at some point.
Pretty great stat here. Oliveira landed more significant strikes in a single fight, 19, and in a single round, 13, than any of Islam's previous UFC opponents. So something to hang his hat on if you're Charles Oliveira. He did, I don't think anyone was predicting a complete, drubbing, but he did have his moments. It's just that Islam is so damn good.
Islam even knocked him down. Like that was crazy to me. That's how good.
I know.
Like I don't know, man.
Let me ask you guys this.
Sorry.
No. I was just going to ask you guys. I was having this argument with some other journalists, but they were. You
were having an argument with a journalist?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like a discussion, I guess. But they were saying that even if Islam won this fight, that he would not be long for the throne. Like he would be, because there's too many other guys coming up that are also very good. Do you foresee this being a long-term champion?
I think if he could get by Volk, why not?
Yeah.
Who's like? I'm not saying he can't lose, but who's the boogeyman here?
Yeah.
Who's the guy?
Obviously.
No, I don't think
Dustin,
anybody who's.
By the way, you joke about that, but Jesus Christ!
Wait, what was the joke? I missed it. Tell me again.
He said Connor again. He loves to joke about Connor, but here's the thing.
I'm not. Why do you think I'm joking? I'm deadly serious.
That's sort of that's always in play.
That's a potential $2 million buy fight.
Well, it's Hamzat now, right? After this,
my God, dude!
skirmish.
I wasn't even thinking about this.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll get him in there somewhere, boys. I'll always get him in. That's my boy Connor.
Oh man. Oh,
we're not going to go.
He texted me today and said, "Will you slip me in there?" And I said, "No problem, mate. I'll do that."
No, but you go down the list.
Yeah.
Charles is, as of right this moment, it's obviously going to change. Maybe it won't change. Charles won. Champ is Islam. Dustin and Chandler have to fight each other, but they're not fighting for a number one contender spot. Gaethje is still recovering. Fiziev is the fresh face. I don't know if he has the style, right?
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Fiziev.
Exactly. I'm trying to be, Dariush, tough, but I mean, Islam younger and so strong.
Yep. Gamrot just lost, so.
Gamrot, RDA, Sarukian. I mean, he has the history with it. Like, what? Well, who's the guy?
Anyone from 70 go down?
Jalen Turner, baby, the tarantula. He's coming.
There we go.
Dude, that guy. By that guy is great, but like he is. Yeah, he's got some ways.
You just remember I said it here.
I love Jalen Turner.
We'll revisit this in 2000.
You're trying to avoid him.
But no, I think. Listen, the toughest one for the foreseeable future is going to be the next one.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
Volk is so smart. Volk is such a good fighter. But Volk
strong too, though. Like he's
but it's a different weight class, right?
I know it is. I know.
Like I have to say, like Islam today looks so strong. Like I mean, as much as this is a place where obviously we said he was going to go in as the hometown favorite, like that expectation to deal with that is something as well, right? To go in when you're meant to do it and do the damn thing deserves a lot of credit too. Sure. Like just before this kicked off, Daniel Cormier, I said to Ariel as soon as we jumped on this call, I said, Daniel Cormier is just after saying this camp cost him $1 million. And if he doesn't win it, he'll never be a UFC champion. I was like, talk about expectation. Like, I know he can't hear it, but everything was riding on this and he did it. It's hard to find a blemish right now, something you would attack against this guy.
It's like a mission too. Like, I don't know. Are you almost, the way he fights, you even a sliding door, essentially, like what could have Charles even done differently? What could he have done where scenarios would have changed, where it would have swung things in his favor? He's on such a mission. Once he gets in there, it always just seems like it's just straight through. He's just going to go right through you, and that's that feeling, right? Is very much like Khabib. That's like the feeling he gave when he was on his way and when he won it and all that stuff. It just didn't feel like anybody was going to be able to put up resistance against what he was going to bring in there. So in that way, it's just so. What is the word I'm looking for? Like he's just like mechanical. Like he just goes in there and goes right. He just does the job. It's very cold. You know what I mean? Like until he's done, and then he lightens up. But it's just this very cold, very straight, very severe fighting style, and he's very aggressive and very strong. It's hard to overcome.
Listen, I know they're different people, and I know it's unfair to make all the comparisons all the time. But it's like right there. There's something kind of special about this because I feel like in a weird way, whatever happens here with Islam, and again, I know it's dumb and I know they're different. it kind of gives us finality to the Khabib story, right? Like I feel like the Khabib story ended so abruptly, and now we'd be like, all right, there was like a 2-year weird gap in this, and now we could just see how far this guy can go. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing. I will say this about Volkanovski. It's been a long time since he fought anyone even remotely close to Islam in terms of skill set. Max Holloway, Korean Zombie, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, Jose Aldo. None of them fight like Islam. Chad Mendez, closest sort of body type. Darren Elkins, like he has never faced anyone remotely close to Islam. So I'm really, not to say that I'm doubting him. He's unbelievable. He is so smart. I think his IQ in the cage is tremendous. But man, in Australia too, like Volk's going to get his flowers trying to make history here. Oh, it's going to be freaking
There's so many times
huge.
too, like a guy like Volkanovski, right, who's defended his title. They could get a little finicky. Champions can get finicky very quickly, right? Like they can start to be like, no, I'm just going to start to cherry pick the best I can. I'm going to start being suggestive and plant seeds for this or that, and hopefully I get one of these types of fights. This is the hardest possible fight for him, is it not? I mean, this is the hardest fight that he could possibly take next.
1,000%.
So, you got to give him credit for that alone.
1,000%.
I mean, he's there, he's standing up, he's going in the cage, he wants it. You got to love when guys want the smoke, man. I mean, that's what it's about.
100%. He had a great line. I think it was in an interview with BT Sport where, they asked him, are you going to be holding up the division if you go to 55? He said, holding up the division 45 is holding me up. I want to be more active. There's no one it's great, right? Like who has emerged? Who's the number one guy? Yair, Josh Emmett. Like there's no clear-cut guy.
Ready.
I'm all about it. And I love the Beneil Dariush, Charles Oliveira call out. I mean, that's a perfect next fight for both guys. And we'll get to Beneil.
That's the undeniable hurdle, right, for Dariush. Yeah. It has to be. Like all of a sudden now you're beating the guy who we were talking about in a GOAT conversation, or some people were. I know that you didn't want to be a part of that, but some people were talking about that. And now you get the chance to overcome him. Yeah.
Didn't want to be a part of it, but again, I do think that we need to recognize like that run from Charles, especially how the career started for him, is legit one of the all-time best runs that we've ever seen.
Yep.
In that weight class against those opponents. Honestly, the guy, I mean, the way he turned his career around, the way he became this darling, the money that he's made, like, good for him.